Y'all, this is Shekinah Simone, and this is why I left vet school. I am very enthusiastic about the decision, obviously. To start, I haven't felt this free in so long. I was just thinking about it, and I haven't had a free summer in like 5 or 6 years maybe, because I've spent years preparing for vet school, which is necessary. I don't regret at all. In my institution, I mean, I got in the first time I applied. I got a scholarship whenever I was accepted, which is odd. Usually you have to like apply for scholarships, but the committee of the scholarship committee of the school was like, we are very impressed with you, so here's a scholarship that can like help offset funds, because I also was an out-of-state student, which is, vet school is already hard to get into, but especially as an out-of-state student. So the reason I left wasn't because of like capability or anything like that. I mean, obviously I got in, accomplished all those things, and I finished like my first year and whatnot. It's just like, it literally got to a point where I had to sit with myself and ask myself, do I want to do this for the next few years of my life? And I did not want to. So vet school is a very, at least in my institution, I should probably say, it's the only experience that I've had, and it's not LSU. This is my undergrad. I went to another school for vet school. It's a very rigid schedule. They want you to fit in a mold. And even though they say, which they've said to me explicitly, that they appreciate how broad of a skill set I bring. I mean, I already have my MBA. I was in a dual DVM MPH program. I had real world experience in environmental initiatives, and of course in in business management initiatives. I was a vet tech, of course. So I have like all these like diverse experiences across many states in a relatively short amount of time, where I worked my way up and things like that, and was like still accomplished academically, right? So it's like a stark contrast how it started. Again, I was accepted first time around as an out-of-state student, given a scholarship because how impressed they were with me, to like at the end I was like, this is an environment that I do not enjoy, and it's very toxic, again, for my institution. So yeah, just on paper, they valued my skills and what I brought to the table, my perspective, and I'm also very outspoken. Like, my personality, I've been described as a lawyer many times, and whatever else, which, spoiler alert, I feel like is my true calling. But yeah, I can't help but to speak up about things, and especially since I have like a broad, diverse knowledge about a lot of things as well. I know that can be intimidating. I know, like, also annoying, but if something's wrong, something's wrong, and if it can be better, it should be better. I'm also like a very like efficient person, and literally at one of my previous jobs, I was on the efficiency committee and things like that. So I've always had in mind, like, if something can be improved, if something can be better, if something can be innovative, do it. So yeah, I just find myself literally every day I'd go in at war with the way a traditional vet should be, which also, I don't want to be a traditional vet. That was another thing. I am very vocal about my perspective on vet school. So broadened, and I realized that I can make more impact and more change, and like also do entrepreneurial pursuits by encompassing One Health, which is like humans, animals, and the environment. All those three things, being able to do all that, the knowledge, and like see what connections and networking I can do while I'm in vet school. And plus, I've always wanted to be a vet. Like, growing up, I've never wanted to be anything else. And also, I'm a very like what if person. I don't like what ifs, actually. I don't like what ifs. So I know if I hadn't tried to get into vet school, if I hadn't tried it out, I would have been in the back of my mind, oh, what if? Maybe I should have applied. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I whatever. But since I completed my first year and I was able to like truly reflect, all right, I've done this. Do I want to continue on this path or not? I can make a more sound decision with no regrets because I tried it. And I know what's best for me, right? And the universe knows what's best for me, right? The universe put me on the path and in position to say, all right, this is not serving you well at all. And to explain that I don't want to be a traditional hands-on vet, like I want to do public policy analysis or environmental diplomacy. I was very open about that from the get-go, and again, this has been on my mind for at least the last year or two. Prior to that, I just wanted to be like in veterinary hospital administration because I had my MBA and things like that, and I really like changing systems, and I was like, you can do that as CEO and whatever else. And then again, that became more encompassing where I want to do the public policy analysis, environmental diplomacy on the international level. That's what I want to do now. That's what I've been adamant about, and that's what my calling is. I wanted to be a vet since I was young, and I don't like what if scenarios. I'm like, I'm just gonna go for it, you know, give it my all and see how it goes. Not only is it not fun, but it was actually hindering me from actual opportunities that would have helped me. And whenever you're in a professional school, med, dent, vet school, you literally have no time for anything else. That's the way the program is designed. Which, if you want to be a traditional vet, that makes more sense. But for me, for someone who doesn't even want to like work with animals, I just want to make policy that influences animals. That's why I was like, I wanted knowledge of like exactly how I'll be influencing this population, and like, you know, what works best and what doesn't, what needs to improve, what doesn't need to improve. I just wanted that insider knowledge, and honestly, you know, I think I got it. It was fine. But again, I was an out-of-state student. Tuition is outrageous at my institution, probably at any institution as an out-of-state student, but it's just like, no matter how I looked at it from any angle, it just didn't make sense, and it really wasn't justifiable at a certain point. And also, again, I'm an entrepreneur. Having time for any of that was low-key depressing. Also have ADHD, so I need to be focusing on multiple things at once. So being in an environment that wanted me to focus on like one thing also wasn't good. So I had no time for like my other pursuits, which was the biggest thing. And that was the first time I had ever really encountered that. I mean, I got my undergrad degree in 3 years while enrolled in my school's honors program in biological sciences, and I was still able to do several things. Like I was an RA during that time, I was in different clubs, all these things, no problem. Obviously I got into vet school, so like, you know, the GPA wasn't like an issue and whatever else, even given all that. Yes, it could have been higher if I did less, but like, again, I was able to do everything I wanted to do and more, and still have like a competitive GPA. And then like for my MBA, I did that online so that I could work at Disney. I had 2 internships and a job at Disney. I was able to get a high GPA with my MBA and finish all that at Disney. I literally worked my way up. And so with no problem, again, doing multiple things. And that's whenever I developed my first like business proposal and things like that. Even the summer before I started vet school, since I'm in a dual MPH DVM program, or I did summer classes for my MPH program, which is the Master of Public Health, right? And even then, like, I was still able to do multiple things. I was able to start like another like business endeavor and get that initiated and do like another proposal and whatever else, no problem. Vet school was the first time where I felt pressure, not just within myself, but from other people explicitly, to put everything else on hold, which never sat right with me. You saw my resume that I'm a multifaceted individual who likes efficiency and values all these other things, and literally based on the committee letter, we were very impressed with you, but now when it comes to actually being enrolled in school, you're like, but now we want you to be a traditional vet, and put all that aside. So yeah, that was like part of the reason why I was so upset with the program that accepted me and on paper embraced me for who I am, but in actuality I was explicitly discouraged from being what makes me me. I've never been a traditional student. I mean, I didn't major in animal sciences in undergrad. I majored in biological sciences because I wanted a broad scope and a larger view of the world. Okay, and then like also with my jobs at Disney, those were environmental related. I remember a vet told me like, okay, like if you apply to vet school and they see like your extracurriculars, yeah, they're impressive, but they might think that you don't know what you want to do. I know exactly what I want to do. I want to do One Health, right? So it's just like, that's why I guess took the risk and did all that, and of course it paid off and whatever else, because I got that experience, I got more letter of recommendations, I got all that, which helped me to get into vet school, right? And again, with my MBA business, I can't just put that aside. That was 2 years of my life, and whatever else, that took a lot of time, investment, and energy. So to say no, this is our traditional way of being a vet, this is what we have, any aberration is going to be seen as an aggression, really. It's no, yeah, it wasn't worth it. I was not going to lose myself in the process. I did not want to be miserable, again, for no reason. For vet school was supposed to be for funsies and self-fulfilling, and honestly the year was not fun, and I am fulfilled. I found that fulfillment in other things, honestly, which is sad to say, but again, at least I know for sure. There's no what ifs, and I'm I tried it, and I know definitively it's not what's best for me personally or professionally. So that being said, I just decided to focus on the MPH, and with that I can get other certifications, and I can actually get real world political experience. One of my biggest frustrations as well with vet school, I wanted to look for government relations internships, which are already far and few between and whatever else, and so that was frustrating, just the lack of opportunity in that area that is really so crucial. I mean, making laws that influences your patients, not just your patients, yourself, and things like that. You would think it would be way more positions, but no, they're already hard to find, and then their scope is also very limited. Just as a whole, vet school, you really need to be not trying to be offensive, this could just be my institution, you need to be narrow focused. I want to be a traditional hands-on practicing vet, that's it. And within that, is it small animals, is it large animals, exotic? But any other thing beyond just that narrow road, you're gonna have an extremely difficult time. All right, so, which was also very frustrating. This, what I want to go into, it's broad scope, many players, many factors. You really need to stay on top of your people skills, your networking skills, learn about making policy, all these things. And I remember even before I started vet school, that was a huge concern of mine. I was I'm really gonna have to put all these skills on hold until afterward, which would have put me at a disadvantage, right? The projected graduation year for me for vet school with the dual program was 2028. So by the time, I would have been a doctor, but then I wouldn't have any of the political experience I wanted, because I wouldn't have time to invest in it at all. I wouldn't have any of the soft or hard skills I wanted, all this. So I would have had to graduate in 2028 and then take another few years to be comfortable enough to pursue the career I want to do. But for this track that I'm on now, I mean, I can finish in the next year or two, and so that'd be 2026 or 2027, and again, get more certifications, get the studying I want to get done abroad or here, get the more relevant internships, get the more relevant networking, because again, I have time I can fit in my schedule, it's not as rigid and things like that. So I get more in less amount of time. So that's why it just made sense for me to not finish this. It made sense for me to just leave the program and just leave it where it was, and okay, we did it, didn't work, let's keep going, right? And whatever else, because I don't want to lose momentum out, and I would have lost momentum over vet school, which is sad to say, but again, you literally have no time for anything else. It's you're sacrificing so much to finish. Again, the scheduling, the credit hours, all the things that they want you to do, the labs, everything. You barely have time for yourself. It's my personal care, I couldn't really tend to that at times because of how much I had to do. And I'm it was literally at war with myself, and I felt so bad. It was I was losing myself in the process. In general, I left vet school because it makes sense for me personally and professionally, and it's what's best. Again, all the way around, I'm going to have a higher return on my investment, financially, emotionally, personally, academically, career-wise, however you look at it. It's already better all the way around. I haven't felt this alive in so long, which is again sad to say, because I've always wanted to be a vet. and you always go in like with high hopes, being like, oh yeah, this is going to be great, this is going to be whatever. And then whenever it doesn't meet those expectations, of course it's disappointing, but you have to be honest with yourself, right? And sit with those uncomfortable feelings and really, really, really weigh out the pros and cons. And really, for this situation, vet school versus the other things I'm going to pursue and finish and accomplish in a quicker amount of time, and like, you know, all these things, there were like really no pros for the vet side, honestly, for me. Again at my institution, it was a very toxic environment that was just not worth the stress. Very frustrating for several reasons, and again, it just was not worth it. I was like, it's not worth putting myself through this for the next few years. And for vet med, I haven't given up on it completely. There is like a proposal for vet med that I have, but I also realized, and I told one of my friends who's still at the vet school about this, I was like, I will have to change the system, the toxic system, from the outside. Also, that is best for what I want to do, because it has to be from like a regulatory standpoint, outside looking in from like an external body, being like, hey, no, that is not okay, this can be better, so improve it, do better. That is better to do from the outside than in. So since I still want to do One Health, humans, animals, and the environment, I still want to be comfortable with the population that I'm going to be making policy about, that I'm going to be advocating for, right? So, I mean, still vet teching, you know, as time allows, and whatever else is still fine. It's still a great skill. I still love animals, of course. It's just sometimes the practitioners, I feel like people lose their motivation, their love, and forget why they started becoming a veterinarian after a while, which is a whole other conversation. But I definitely saw that burnout and that loss of passion in professors and other veterinary professionals as well, which made it even more bleak. It's like, if students are miserable and you're training students to be miserable and things like that, and then I'm going to end up like that person who's been like a vet for 30 years and it's just like even more miserable. It's just like, I don't want that for myself. Even if I wanted to be a traditional hands-on vet, I wouldn't want to be that kind of vet. And it's actually funny, one of my advisors was actually like, well, I know that there are vet schools with better environments, would you consider transferring? And I told her no. Just, you have to sacrifice so much, regardless of what institution you're at. It's a lot of your time and things like that. And also too, it's best, in my opinion, to change things. If you're not at the very top, it's to change it from the outside. And I was like, no, I'm gonna like do this path that brings me enthusiasm, that brings me fulfillment, that it has more bang for my buck all the way around, financially, personally, academically, professionally, however you look at it. It makes more sense, it's more relevant, all these things. I'm going to focus on that and develop that. So that's my journey with vet med.